Welcome back to another episode of the BP Experience. I'm your host, Chris Lopez, and my co-host,
Andy Morillon.
Michael Sapp.
and here we have our guest,
I'm Rodney Davis.
Rodney Davis. And today, I'm your host for today, and Esteban Cochas is
Recording.
on recording, yep. So, to get started off, so where'd you grow up?
I grew up in the Long Beach area, went to Paramount High School, which is a lot like Buena Park, primarily Hispanic with a lot of different cultures blended into it. And so, for me, my Buena Park experience is very similar to the experience you guys are having right now. Blue collar folks having to earn it every day, nobody having it handed to them. And so I get where you're from.
Yeah, so I feel like that's important, like growing up in a place where there's like many kinds of people,
Yeah.
like the culture and everything, everyone's united. It's like there's a sense of unity.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that my experience, how it served me, is, I was able to leave a place like Buena Park and go and see the world. And everywhere I went, I could relate to people there. I had been around Hispanic people. I had been around Caucasian people. I had been around Asian people and Pacific Islanders. And so everywhere I went, I just felt like I could relate because I had experienced people like that before. And can I jump in right here with something?
Yeah.
It is an incredible honor to be on your show. And one of the reasons why is because you guys are young men and your whole life is ahead of you. I've actually lived more days than I have ahead, but you guys have more days of life ahead of you than you've already lived. And being in my season of life, I'm 62 years old. I know I don't act my age. But being in my season of life and meeting young people and knowing that, you're going to go and accomplish some things, you're going to grow. So thank you for having me on.
So yeah, we appreciate having you, taking the time out of your day, even if it's just a short amount of time to be on this podcast.
Well, they're giving me money, so I think I'm the only person here actually getting paid.
Yeah.
Your favorite thing about this part of your life?
Well, I really like the people that work here. The ladies in the office, many of the teachers. For me, having a career in something that I love, one of the things that I value more than anything is just being around people that I enjoy every day. I don't like being around people that, that I don't enjoy being around. And I have that here, not just with staff and teachers, but a lot of the students.
Another question. What words of inspiration would you have for somebody that just graduated high school?
Well, the first thing I tell you is to watch your money and understand how money works. I can remember being from a place like this and just, getting money or making money and wanting to spend it as fast as I got it. It was in my hand and out the other in a relatively short period of time. But that's one thing that I wish that I understood better is how to manage money, how to make money, all of those things. But the biggest thing I would tell you all is that you're in a process of becoming who you want to become. And so just thinking about the man that you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, how you want your life to be built. You need to be putting bricks into that every single day. And a lot of people graduate from high school, they don't really have a plan for themselves. Hey, I want to get a good job. I want to be responsible with money. A lot of times when you're in high school, it's about relationships. They're my friend, she's my girl, and that's our identity. Instead of deciding, hey man, I'm going to go be this dude. And I'm going to practice being this dude every day. And it doesn't have to be a punk or a sucker or anything like that. But I'm proud of the man that I've built, and how that man interacts with others every day.
So looking back at your life so far, is there something that you wish your younger self had known?
You stay away from that girl. What's her name? Kidding. I'm joking.
Can you get an available campus supervisor to open room 45?
Damn. Just look at me. I'm at work. Your question
Got it.
was.
So,
Thank you.
so looking back at your life so far, is there something that you wish your younger self had known?
Wow, that's deep. You know, I wish that I had known my father better. You know, and he's gone now, but, you know, when I was a young man, I wish that I had known my father better, his struggles, the things that he was proud about himself. I didn't learn those till later on, and I have sons, you know, but finding men that you love and respect and allowing those men to pour into you, choosing the right men, I think that's something, when I look back, I've been able to do. You know, I've been able to just, even though I wasn't the right person, I just started surrounding myself with the right people so that I could become the right person. I see kids on this hallway that are just as screwy as can be, and it reminds me of me when I was their age. No one would ever think that about me now, that I was squirrely like that. But I was, and so that's why I have a heart for them.
Yeah, I feel like spending time, especially with your father, is really like important.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, men nowadays, or like kids, like especially with like most households having the father at work, you know, they don't have the time to, you know, spend time with him. So I feel like if you can, it's very important to spend time with your father.
So when I have two sons, they're in their 30s, and I'm a grandfather. I have two grandsons. And one time I was, you know, I worked in baseball. I was a baseball scout and a professional baseball coach, and worked for about 30 years for a handful of major league teams. And I used to take my children with me to games, because that was one of the cool things about my job, is you could actually take your kids to work with you and they could run around and watch the game. And one day my son, on a drive, we had 2 hours, he was 12 years old, he goes, "Hey Dad, what were you like when you were 12? And man, I was like, okay. And I remembered, like, the first music I bought with my own money, I did when I was 12 years old. I bought an album called What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. It's actually a classic album. And then the second thing I did with this money was I went to see Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. And I love martial arts films, and that's as good as one that's ever been made. And so I got to thinking about that, you know, like, man, telling my son who I was when I was 12, when I was 14, when I was 16, that sort of thing, you know, just so he could get to know me a little bit better. And so that's one of the things that, as you meet, man, hey, what was life like when you were 14? What was like, was there anything that was a battle for you that when you were 17 that you overcame? Asking men questions like that so that you can learn from their experiences, I think, is important.
Is there a reason you quit your coaching job?
No, I had worked in Major League Baseball for a long time. And, you know, if you follow baseball very much at all, it's changed. It's become about data, analytics, things like that, math. Well, what do I care about math? I play baseball. And so the game had changed, and it was no longer a place that I felt like my intellect was truly valued. See, when it comes to people and intellect, and I don't mean this with any disrespect, but like, I walk around here and there are people here with master's degrees and doctorates and all of those things. I got none of that. Life has been my educator. But I don't feel around any people that I'm unintelligent, because I know what I know very well. And so to me, intelligence is whatever it is that you know the most about. Not necessarily like, oh, this guy's smart. Well, he might be smart, but when it comes to changing a tire, he's the stupidest guy in the room. And so intelligence to me is only relevant to what you're talking about. We all have intellects and talents that we've been given to develop. And that's my hope and prayer for all of you, that you'll know, man, I love this. You know, I see you on a skateboard sometime. Hey, man, start a business, you know, where you're putting on events. Instead of just riding the board, now you're facilitating things, and you do something you love, and you're able to earn from it. And I was able to achieve that, you know. But when the things changed, I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. So I kept all my friends, but I decided to go and start my own business. And that's what I did. I started a business and made more money using my own intellect instead of working for someone. Because when you work in baseball and when you work for someone, they get to decide how much money you can make. But when you start your own business and you work for yourself, you get to decide how much money you make. If you're not employed by somebody,
You're
they
your own
don't
boss.
get to dictate your salary or the time that you work every day. And so, you know, when I finally got let go from my last job and, you know, but I saw it as an opportunity, and I went and built a business and made a difference in a lot of young people's lives and made more money than I ever did as a scout or a minor league coach. And I made good money. And so I learned that my own intellect has more value to me than it does to somebody else who wants to pay me.
When did you start your business?
I started it in 2014. I was working for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And man, like 10 days before Christmas, they called me in and told me that I was let go. Well, that's the worst time of year to lose your job in baseball, you know. And so, you know, I love God, I love Christ, and that's a big part of who I am, the biggest part. And so I prayed, and I thought, you know what? Start your own baseball business. And I did. And I loved it. But after I built it, I thought it was running well enough that I could have the people running it run it. And I allowed Major League Baseball to hire me back. Not for a team, but for Major League Baseball itself. And so I don't know if you're familiar with the Urban Youth Academy in Compton over there, but I ran that for a couple of years, you know, and what ended up happening is because I gave away my freedom again, they could dictate about my business. And so I finally said, you know what, I've had enough. I don't want to work for these people anymore. Another factor for me was my oldest son was a major league player, you know, and he's been very generous to me. And, you know, I own a home and I don't have a mortgage, you know, and so I get to kind of do what I want. And that's one of the reasons I work here, is because I actually like it. I like coming to work here every day. I like working here every day. So it doesn't feel like work. It feels like me going around criticizing kids and having fun, and then they give me money every 2 weeks. So
What words of advice would you give to people starting a business?
You have to hire. You have to have people help you that care about your business as much as you care about it. I think that's a very important thing. I was fortunate in that I had a lot of really good people working alongside of me. I hired a lot of people that were smarter than me, more talented than me. And so, number one, the people that are alongside of you, if anybody's helping, they need to care about your business the way that you care about it. Number two would be make sure that you organize your plan so that you can explain it to people in a relatively short period of time. So you got to be able to say a lot to people in a relatively short period of time, because people don't want to hear it for so long. And then the last thing is that you need to allow your business to grow as it grows. Like, sometimes people open a hot dog stand. Oh, let's take Wendy's, for example. Do you go to Wendy's? You guys ever go to Wendy's? Have you ever been to Wendy's?
Yeah.
Right. I only go to Wendy's for the Frosty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get no sandwich from there. I don't eat their burgers. But that Frosty gets me. Whatever the Frosty is for your business, allow what's working for your business to work, instead of feeling like, man, I have this idea and, you know, a lot of businesses have started because people chose something about the business that they like. They don't dig the curly fries, but they'll go for that frosty. So whatever is working in your business, let that lead your business.
If it ain't broke, then don't fix it. Yeah. So what was your business like?
I had a player development business, and so the scouting and the coaching I did, instead of working for a team, a lot of kids knew me. They knew what I could do. I was helping kids get drafted. I was helping kids get scholarships, and I was helping parents understand the process. Parents are the ones that are goofing up youth sports because they make it about them instead of about the kids. And so having experiences as a father, like, hey man, I know what it's like to have a son that you think is good and everybody else may not see that. And so, you know, inside your business, just making sure that you're doing your best to make it work.
And what team did your son play for?
He played for Oakland for 5 years and Milwaukee for 5 years. His name's Chris Davis with a K, Khris. And the thing I'm most proud about my son is my son has almost 300 major league home runs. And never once did he pimp them or bat toss. He hit them and he ran. My favorite thing about it as a dad is sometimes I would see my son's 12-year-old face because of his joy. I was young as a man again because I remember that joy that he would have from playing. So, yeah.
Is he still in the league? Or
No, he's done.
He's done.
Yeah, he's done. Had a nice career.